Stitchy Thursday. Today I'm going to share with you progress on my Prairie Schooler Alphabet, and you can probably see from this zoomed out view of my very large 90 by 50 centimetre project that I am nearly halfway through. I am making this a bit of a focus piece. It's something I'm working on almost every day in the evening, stitching for any time from about an hour to about 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 sometimes, if I get started on it earlier enough in the evening. I will zoom in closer in a moment. So this is a design by the Prairie Schooler. I'm stitching it in the recommended DMC colours, all except for a red, which I'm sometimes substituting a 3857 for a 221, slightly lighter in colour. Apart from that substitution and a slight change in the pumpkin, pretty much it's the recommended DMC colours. It's 2/2 and it's stitched on 36 count sort of raw linen, which is absolutely beautiful. I love the colour of the background it provides. I'm just loving it. I'm going to try and get it finished this year because it's a focus piece. It takes me 2 to 4 weeks to stitch a block, but that was probably before it was a focus piece, and I was also working on the Bothy Threads Cut Through Castle. So I'm hoping at the moment it won't take so long. So I'm going to zoom in. So I have finished Ellie's for Leaves. I think that was I think I was stitching it in my last Prairie Schooler update. I just think it looks so pretty stitched next to the kitten. I've stitched this block before, and I actually think I prefer it on this raw linen. I stitched it on an antique white before, and I really like this version of it on this natural linen. The kitten is so beautiful stitched. I love it so much. I'm not someone who stitches cats. I love cats, but not someone who would stitch a cat normally. And I absolutely adore it. Something about the bright eyes that is really cute. And it reminds me of my cat, who's always on the hunt. And is always bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I'm working on the mermaid block and the nest, which is N and M. So I was doing the mermaid block, which is so pretty, but the mermaid is not pretty. This is a leaflet. Look, I don't think you can tell. I haven't zoomed in enough, but she needs some head and tummy modifications, and so I'm going to do that. But I'm not rushing it. I'm going to do it when I've got a bit of time to sit down and plan out what rows or stitches I'm going to delete on her, and then finish her. So I've moved over to Ennis for Nest. I'll come back to the mermaid pretty soon. This is Ennis for Nest, and it is so adorable. I just have a bit of filling to do behind those little chicks. They will really lift and sit out, hopefully, once I've got some darker brown stitched around them. I am probably a third of the way of the block. There are so many leaves stitched in here. It's quite incredible how many leaves are crammed in there. So it's a fairly stitch intensive block, but it is really pretty. Then the next one next to it, which will be here, I'm really looking forward to stitching because it's always for Al. So I'm getting there with it. I'm very pleased, and it's just a delight to stitch. So if anyone's contemplating it, I would recommend doing it because there's just so much satisfaction stitching and finishing each block, and then having them sit together like that is just so incredibly pretty. I'm just amazed with how it's turned out. I'm so thrilled I'm stitching it. It's a very hard piece not to stitch on every day because it's so lovely. Yes, I would definitely highly recommend Prairie Schooler patterns. Very easy, not too many colours, no back stitching, no half stitches, no blending. Easiest, prettiest stitches out, I reckon. But I'm slightly biased here. Anyway, thank you for listening today and watching. I hope you've had a great stitchy week, and I'm going to put up another update very soon. Thanks, bye.